Hello everyone and welcome to Obsidian Soft. Today I will be teaching you how to make a flashlight and a strobe light app in MIT App Inventor. Basically, we will be using the flashlight to make a strobe light, a flashing light in MIT App Inventor. So it's a two-in-one app. Open up MIT App Inventor by going to its website, click on Create Apps. By default, it will open up your last project. Just go to Projects and click on Start New Project, okay? And I will name it Flashlight without any spaces. In the original MIT App Inventor, we do not have any way of accessing the flashlight. What is the flashlight? The flashlight is basically the camera's flash. So we cannot access it using this version of MIT App Inventor, but if you look down, you can see extensions. Extension means code that has been developed by others that we can reuse in our projects to make cooler stuff, some more amazing stuff. The point about coding is that you should not reinvent the wheel. If someone has done it before and they are offering it for free, for example, there's a creative license with it, then go ahead and use it. Here it says import extension, okay? Let's go and find that site. I will give this link in the video description. And if you go down, you will see that here towards the end, you have this download this extension file. It says AIX file. We need the AIX file. So just click on that and it will be downloaded to your computer. I will remember where I've downloaded it, and then I will just go to my project and I will click on this import extension. Just choose the file. Click on import. So as you can see that it has been imported, we can access this extension here. So the first thing is that we just drag it and drop it on our viewer here so that it becomes a non-visible component inside our app, okay? We need a notifier. We get the notifier from user interface. Notifier will be used to show an alert to the user if there is no flashlight in your Android device, okay? So we'll just drag it and drop it onto our viewer here, and again it's a non-visible component. The third thing is the clock inside the sensors. We need the clock to make our strobe light, the flashing light, because we will be using a timer to turn on and off the light quickly, okay? So we've added the non-visible component clock and make this timer interval 50. This is in milliseconds, remember that, okay? So by default, the timer of our clock is strobe light clock is 50 milliseconds. Okay, the next thing to do is that we need some images for our buttons, an on-off button for our flashlight and an on-off button for our strobe light, okay? If I go to freepik.com, just type in on-off buttons, you will see that these are very nice buttons. So I've already downloaded these images on my computer. Coming back to our project, I'm just going to add those images that I have already downloaded. So I will just go to media and upload file. And I have this on button, this off button. I have to do it one by one. I'm also adding an icon, and I will be giving the link from where I got this flashlight icon. Okay, so all the images have been added. Okay, so I can easily access them when I'm making the buttons. So coming back to our viewer, first of all, click on the screen 1, go down until you see the title and change it to flashlight, okay? Second thing is that we are going to make this background color. By default, we want to make it black. Next, we want to upload the icon for our app. So we go to the icon, and because we have already uploaded it, so I just need to select it, the icon.png file, and click on OK. So now when you will install this app on your device, it will have its own icon, okay? Now we need a layout. Remember, all the buttons and text boxes, they have to go inside a layout. So we go to layout and we click on a vertical arrangement and just drag and drop it on the viewer here. And I'm going to make its height fill parent, and I'm going to make its width fill parent. And I'm going to make its background color black too. Okay, good. Another important thing is that make sure that inside your vertical arrangement, align horizontal is center and align vertical is also center. So everything we will place inside a vertical arrangement will be centered. Now we need a label. So I'm just going to go to user interface and get label. I'm going to make its font size 20 and I'm going to write down flashlight in the text. Okay, and I'm going to make the text color white, and I'm also going to make it bold. You can obviously design your user interface the way you want to do it. So I'm designing a very simple but attractive interface. You can design your own interface. So we have a label. Now I'm going to add a button. So I'm just going to go to user interface and drag the button and drop it here. I'm going to name it appropriately. That is very important. So the name is flashlight button because this is for our flashlight. Okay. And let's give it image. So I'm just going to go to image and I'm going to click on off because this is the by default state of our app that the flashlight is off. So I'm just going to click on OK. Now it's very huge because the image that I got from the internet was very large in size. So I have to make the height and width smaller. So I'm going to make the height about 15% and the width 25%. It's a good idea to connect your mobile to your MIT App Inventor project using the AI Companion app. And you can see how the buttons look, what should be the appropriate value for height and width. You can check that out while making the app. Now I'm going to just remove this text from the button by going down and making this text empty. So now it's gone. Okay, we need another label and that will say strobe light. So something similar to the flashlight, but unfortunately we cannot copy in MIT App Inventor. So I just need to add another label, okay, with same properties as this label 1. Change the text to strobe light, make it text color white, make its size, font size 20 and make it bold. Okay, so good. Now we need to add another button for our strobe light. So I'm just going to go and drag the button and drop it on our viewer and again choose its image, strobe off and click on OK. Now again it is very big, so I have to adjust it accordingly, and I have my device connected to this project using AI Companion so I can see how it actually looks on a device. So I'm going to make its height 10% and width 30%. Okay, so this is a good size for it, and I'm going to remove the text from it. Okay, so this is good. Now we need a slider from our user interface palette. The reason for this is that I want that the user can customize how fast the strobe light is blinking, it's flashing. Okay, so I'm just going to drag the slider and drop it here. And I forgot to name my strobe light button, so let me just name it strobe light button. And the slider, the name for it is my strobe light timer. Okay, and make its width about 80%. The minimum value for this is 1 and the maximum value is 50. Okay, and the thumb position is at 50. Okay, it is coming in the center on my actual working device. So now let's code. Go to blocks. The first thing that we need to do is that we need to check whether our device has a flashlight or not. Remember, we added a notifier, so we will be using that to show an alert message if our device doesn't even have a camera flash. We will check it when the app is initialized, and that is when the screen1, this method is called, function is called when screen1.initialize. Okay, so whatever setup we have to do, whatever checking we have to do in the beginning of the app, we do it here. Because we have to check something, we need if-else block. So I'm just going to go to control and get this if then else block. And I'm also going to go to my flashlight. So it has its own blocks or methods or functions. And what are these? That you can call the flashlight to be turned on or off, or you can even check whether we have flash. So we are going to be using this. So we are going to check if our device has a flash, and if our device has flash, then we are going to do something, and if it doesn't have flash, then we are going to show an alert message in the else area. Okay, so what are we going to do inside the flash? That is, we are going to make sure that our timer interval is 50 for our strobe light. So we're just going to go to clock and set timer interval, and we're also going to make sure that our timer is false, because we don't want our app to suddenly start the strobe light when the app is started. So we have to make sure that our timer is false in the beginning. Okay, so we just go to logic and get this false. So this is the first thing. And second thing is that we set the timer interval to what value? 50. So if I just tap on my screen and write down 50 and press enter, I'm just going to get the maths block. So this is a shortcut. You don't have to go to the math blocks and get a block from there. You can just type on the screen and press enter and you will get the appropriate block. Okay, so this is a nice feature. Okay, so what next? If there is no flashlight, then we will go inside else. And what are we going to do inside that? We're going to go to Notifier and we're going to get this block, call notifier.showAlert, and then we have some place for a notice. So we can use a text block, an empty text block, and we can fill it up with a sentence like, sorry, no flashlight on this device. And we want to disable all our buttons, that is our flashlight button and our strobe light button. So I'm just going to go to my flashlight button, and you can see that I can set flashlight button enabled to a value. So I'm just going to go to logic and get false from here, and I can just duplicate it and choose strobe light button from here. So both my buttons will be disabled if there is no flashlight on our device, and I'm just going to plug it in here. Okay, so what is the next thing? The next thing is our flashlight button code. And where will we write the code? When the flashlight button is clicked. So when flashlight button dot click, get this block. And what are we going to write in it? We are going to check whether our flashlight's button is in its on state. And if it is an on state, we will change its look to the off state and turn the flashlight off. So we will be actually just looking at the image that is on flashlight to decide what to do. Okay, let's get the if else block from control. Okay, and what is going to go inside this if else block is that we are first going to check what the image is on the flashlight button. So if it is off and someone has clicked on it, that means it should change to the on image and the flashlight should turn on. I'm going to check what the image is on the flashlight button by going to flashlight button dot image. So I'm going to check what is it right now. So I'm going to get an equal to block from here. So if flashlight button dot image is equal to what? We're going to go to text. I'm just going to get it, plug it in, off.png. Okay, so if it is off, we are going to set it to on and we are going to turn the flashlight on too. First, change the image to on and go to flashlight and call this flashlight on. Simple, isn't it? And in the case of else, we just need to do the reverse of it. That is, we will go inside the else condition if the image on the flashlight was on. So in that case, we just need to turn it to off, the off image, and we also need to turn the flashlight off. So I can duplicate this one and make it off, and I will go to the flashlight and get the off block from here. So very simple code for flashlight. Okay, so this is done. This is the flashlight code is done. Okay, but we need to do some strobe light code too. So for that we need a variable, a global variable called light that we will check every time we go inside the timer. Okay, so we are going to go to variables and I'm going to initialize a global variable light and I will initialize it to true. Okay, because I want the flashlight to start from the true state. Okay, whenever we go inside the timer, I want to turn it on, then off, then on, then off. Okay, so it starts with the true state, and we are going to write some timer code for our strobe light. So we are going to go to clock, and when its timer is reached, remember this timer will only run, we will enable this timer only when the strobe light has been turned on. So every time the strobe light is turned on, this timer will be running, and it will go inside this block every time the timer goes off, and depending upon whether the light was true, it will make it false, and it will turn the light off too. So that will give us the flashing effect. Okay, first we are going to get the state of this light variable. Okay, so again we need an if-else block. So go to controls, get the if-else block, and we are going to check using logic. Okay, and we're going to get this get block. So if get what? The global variable light is equal to what? True. This means we need to turn the light on. Okay, so we're just going to go to flashlight and turn it on, and we are going to set it to false because we want that when we come inside this timer, the next time this condition will not be true and the flashlight will be turned off. So every time we go inside the timer, we either turn on the light or we turn it off, and that will give us the blinking effect of the strobe light. So we have to set this light to false. So let's go to variables and set our light to logic. We get the false block, so we set it to false, and we do the opposite for else. Okay, so I need to turn off the light and I need to set it to true. So just duplicated it, and so what is happening in this code? Let's go over it again. Whenever we go inside the timer, if the light value is true, which is in the beginning of our app, it is always true. So if it is true, our light will be turned on, and then that light variable will be set to false. Okay, so the next time we come inside the timer, which might be after 50 milliseconds, our light will be turned off and light will be set to true. The global variable light will be set to true. So again, the next time when we come inside the timer, we will go inside this code. So this will give the blinking effect. Okay, so this is done. So what else? Oh, we have to do the strobe light button codes. So again, this is very similar to what we did for our flashlight because we want to just change the image on it, and most importantly we have to enable the timer. So whenever the strobe light button is turned on, we want this timer to start running. I'm just going to get the if else block and I'm going to check what the image is. I can just copy this from here and just choose strobe light button here and change this to strobe off.png because that is the name of my image file. Remember, you have to write the exact name of your image file here. Okay, this is super important. So if strobe light button is strobe off.png, that is it's in its off state, I have to change it to the on state. So I can also duplicate from here and just choose it to strobe light button and make it strobe on. Okay, so the image is strobe on. The next thing that I need to do is that I need to enable my timer so that the strobe light starts running. Okay, we are going to go to clock. We are going to set its timer enabled to true. Okay, so go to logic and get the true block and plug it in here. Now the else condition. What is the else condition? That the strobe light button image is in its on state and now we need to turn it off. In that case, we have to do exactly the opposite of this. So just duplicate this and plug it in here. But another thing, that we also want to turn our flashlight off. because it could be that we were in the middle of a timer and the flashlight was turned on and it was never turned off. So we need to turn it off here too. So I'm just going to call this flashlight.off, just duplicate it and just put it here. Last but not the least, our slider. Remember our strobe light timer. So the code for that when its position is changed, remember that our strobe light is customizable, that is, we can change how fast it blinks. So what we're going to do is that we're just going to set our clock timer, this timer which was by default 50, we are going to set it to the thumb position. I'm just going to duplicate it from here, the clock 1.timer interval, just duplicate it, bring it down until it's inside this code, and instead of this 50, I'm just going to click on thumb position and get thumb position, and this is set. So our 2-in-1 app is done. We have a working strobe light and a flashlight. Our strobe light is customizable, that is, we can change how fast it blinks because we have a slider, and you can build your app and install it on your devices and share it with your friends and family. Let me show you a demo of it. I hope you like this video. Do share it with your friends and family, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, kindly do so. I will be back with some other amazing tutorial for MIT App Inventor. See you in the next class. Have a good day and goodbye.